You know, when you get to the top tier of pro tennis, every single player has a monster forehand. They're all unbelievably fast. So what is it? What really separates the ones who win from everyone else? We're going to break down a huge match from the WTA Finals to figure that out.
Yeah, it's the question, right? When two of the best athletes on the planet are battling it out, is it about raw talent, pure physical strength, or is it something else entirely? So let's meet the two players at the heart of this and see if we can find an answer. All right, so in one corner, you've got Jessica Pegula. She's the veteran, the self-described late bloomer who is just hitting the peak of her career. And in the other corner, Coco Gauff, the young phenom, the defending champion. So this isn't just another match. It's that classic story, experience versus youth.
Okay, let's get right into it, the high-stakes showdown. So the scene is set at the WTA Finals. We're talking the best of the best here. And in this grueling marathon opening match, the number 5 seed, Pegula, pulls off a stunner against the number 3 seed, Gauff. But here's the thing. It's not that she won, it's how she won that tells us everything about the mental side of tennis. And this match, wow, it just perfectly captures that classic dynamic we were talking about, experience versus youth. Pegula's story is actually really interesting. She calls herself a late bloomer, and her argument is that because she found her top form later in her career, her body has less wear and tear. She literally says she feels like she's 28 out there, and hey, it seems to be working for her. And then on the flip side, you've got Coco Gauff. She's the youngest player in the entire tournament, but she's also carrying this massive weight of being the defending champ. This match was a pretty tough reminder that even if you're a prodigy, there is always work to do. So how did the veteran pull it off? It wasn't about a bigger serve or a faster shot. Nope, it was all about Pegula's ultimate weapon, her mind. I mean, even Gauff said it herself after the match. Pegula just played a bit smarter. Pegula's game isn't about brute force, it's a chess match. She remembered how Gauff played her in their last match and completely changed her game plan to counter it. She basically outthought her. And really, it all boils down to this one simple, powerful idea. In a sport where inches make the difference, having a strategic mind like hers gives you a massive edge. But don't get it twisted. Being smart on the court doesn't mean she's not a fighter. Her co-coach, Mark Knowles, puts it bluntly. He calls her a bit of a savage and an incredible competitor. It's that combo of brains and a fierce will to win that makes her so tough. Okay, so now let's look at the flip side of that coin. Let's talk about the Achilles heel. Because a single weakness, a single flaw, can completely unravel a player's entire game. Look, Gauff is an incredible athlete. Her backhand is just sublime. But she has this one well-known weak spot, that second serve. And in a pressure cooker match like this one, that vulnerability was on full display for everyone to see. Okay, first number, 17. Just let that sink in for a second. 17 double faults. That is 17 points just handed over to her opponent for free. And what does that lead to? Well, it leads to this. She got her serve broken 9 times. 9! In a professional match, that is almost unheard of. It's basically a meltdown. But if you want the moment that tells the whole story, it's this one. She's serving for the second set. She has a set point. And what happens? 3 straight double faults. I mean, you can't even write that. It's a complete breakdown right when it matters most. And this chart, this really paints the picture perfectly. Look at this. On the one hand, Gauff is ranked number one on the entire tour in return games won. That is an absolutely elite world-class skill. But then you look at her second serve points won, and she's ranked 45th out of the top 50. It is the one glaring part of her game that's holding her back from just dominating everyone. Right, and you have to remember, a match like this isn't happening in a bubble. The WTA Finals is a gauntlet, a round-robin format where you're up against the world's best every single time. This table gives you just a little taste of the history these players bring to the court. I mean, look at Sabalenka and Pegula. Sabalenka has owned that matchup, 8-3. Then you've got Gauff and Paolini, dead even at 3-3. Every single match has these layers of old rivalries and psychological warfare. Okay, so we've broken this whole thing down. What's the big takeaway here? What does it really take to win at the absolute highest level of the sport? Well, it comes down to a few things, right? First, you need elite talent. That's just the ticket to get in the door.
But then, you need that strategic mind, like Pegula has, to adapt and outplay your opponent. You need the mental fortitude, the toughness to handle the pressure. And maybe the biggest one of all, you have to be able to manage your weaknesses. Gauff's talent is off the charts, but her inability to control her serve under pressure, that was the difference maker.
At the end of the day, that's the game right there. It's this incredibly delicate balance. You have to use your mental game, your strategic smarts, to cover for, or at least manage, the parts of your game that are just naturally more vulnerable. And that brings us right back to where we started. As these athletes get physically stronger and faster than ever before, maybe the real next frontier, the thing that will define greatness, isn't in the body at all. Maybe it's all in the mind. It's something to think about, not just for tennis, but for pretty much any high-stakes game. Thanks for joining us.